Should you watch The Housemaid? I watched The Housemaid and overall, I liked it. But if you read the book, you already know how this goes. The book still gives you way more. This movie is based on a novel that came out in 2022, which is actually pretty fast for an adaptation. Books usually sit around for years before Hollywood touches them, but this one just didn't. It blew up online and people couldn't stop recommending it, and the movie deal followed almost immediately. That only tells you how confident the studio was that this was going to work. And it has Sydney Sweeney in it, and she's a fantastic co-lead to observe. For her acting chops, as a movie, it works. It's tense, it's contained, and it understands the genre it's playing in. It has a small cast, mostly one setting, and a story where if one performance didn't land, the whole thing will just fall apart. Thankfully, it didn't. I mean, it landed. It doesn't fall apart. Now, Sydney Sweeney has had a couple of flops the past year, which is, well, it's just hard to hear Sydney Sweeney and then flop. Let's move on. Sydney Sweeney on screen, she's solid, she fits the role, and she carries it well. However, off screen is where things get a little messier. She had some inconsiderate political takes. Nothing too deep though. If I were her, I would just keep all my political takes behind closed doors and get my money. I don't want none of this to mess with my money. That's what I would say. And whether that's fair or not, that baggage follows her into every project, at least until everyone forgets, or if they see this video.
You know, I'm of the belief
that's Euphoria. It's just that people aren't just watching The Housemaid, they're watching Sydney Sweeney in The Housemaid. So, you gotta carry yourself accordingly. Now, moving over to Amanda Seyfried, who is actually doing some of the most interesting work in the movie, mostly because she's not just playing what you'd expect from her usually. Her performance in this film adds this colder, slightly uncomfortable tone that really works. And the cast as a whole keeps the tension in place. If they didn't, this movie would have fallen apart quickly. Now, as someone who read the book for this movie and also watched the film, the main difference between the book and the movie is really just about perspective. The book lets you sit inside the discomfort a little longer, and the movie has to show you its cards a lot sooner. That's sort of how screenplays work, because if you adapt a movie and keep it word for word, it will be boring and it will take forever. Now, if you're a regular consumer of thrillers, you see a few thriller cliches, but that didn't bother me because the movie isn't trying to outsmart you, it's more interested in how it lands those moments. One thing worth mentioning, especially if you read the book, this isn't a standalone story. There are other books in the same universe. So I'm seeing a franchise coming up. But I ain't reading those ones because one book is enough. I will watch them if they get adapted because, well, I think they will get adapted because this movie's box office is quite decent. The Housemaid is the first one in the series. There is The Housemaid's Secret, and then there is The Housemaid is Watching. They all kind of sound like those documentaries I occasionally watch on some kind of hub. And the sequels don't just repeat the same thing. They push the story forward, and there's a shift in the power dynamics, and it gets darker and more controlled as they go. At least that's so I was told. I didn't read those books because, like I said, one was enough. That's enough reading for this guy. So here's a question no one asked me, especially because you didn't watch all the way to this part of the video. Will there be a sequel to this movie? Well, nothing official has been announced yet, but I'd be surprised if there wasn't one. Studios don't just adapt a 2022 book unless they're thinking long term, and also Sydney Sweeney is interesting right now. And realistically, a sequel would probably lean even harder into Sydney Sweeney, whether people like her off-screen association or not. She is a draw. So I liked The Housemaid. It's a solid domestic thriller and it does what it set out to do, and that's all you could ask for. I'm gonna go ahead and rate this movie a 7 out of 10. It's got a good twist and everyone performed phenomenally. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought, and that's my 2 cents. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.